Hi, this is going to be a really quick video. Just wanted to introduce and kind of go through the ins and outs of how to use the Bar Exam Stats profile tool. This tool has been put together as a way for people to see how law schools have changed over the last few years. Now, a little preface. Every year, the American Bar Association gathers a ton of data and information from each of the ABA accredited schools and publishes them in a report called the 509 Disclosures Report. And you can get that directly through their website, abarequireddisclosures.org. Now, what this does, though, is this takes all of that information, which can be in a pretty sizable Excel file, and brings it all together in a very simple to use tool. And I've highlighted 4 specific areas: the entrance information that goes through GPA and LSAT, tuition and fees, which talks about mainly the fees and how that's changed over time for a school, along with scholarship and grants, and then also JD attrition, so you can see how many people are actually leaving each year from that individual school. And so this is a quick walkthrough on how to actually use the tool, and you can get started on your own whenever you want. All right, so with that, let's just dive right in. So it's really simple to select a school. You just click the drop down menu over here in the bottom left, and you can pick anything. So let's pick, for example, we want to go to Harvard. And Harvard University comes up. We can click that, and that'll update each one of these tabs up here. So we can click on the entrance information, and you can see the total number of applicants by calendar year for Harvard University over the last 5 years. I've got enough information for that. You can see that overall the number of applications have been remaining kind of steadily, with the most recent year having a decline in the total number of apps. You can see down here the average GPA for the 25th percentile, the 50th percentile, the 75th, and then you can also see number of people that were not included in the GPA percentile calculation. And same thing for the LSAT. What this does is this kind of gives you a better indication of, where you might sit, where you might want to go to law school. All right, so let's look at the second tab. So the tuition and fees section, what I've done here is taken each of the last 5 years of how much the law school's tuition has risen for a full-time non-resident and a full-time resident of the state, because some states have different pricing models, along with, if there's information for a part-time program, how much that costs, and then finally what the school has submitted as believing living on or off campus expenses might be. Now this bar here on the right is going to be an aggregation of the last 3 years of the tuition cost plus the living off campus for 3 years. You can see what the total cost of tuition is if you weren't to, say, be under a scholarship or a grant. All right, and so then you have the scholarship and grants tab here. Give that a second to load, and you can see that this is a profile that shows how many people are actually receiving a scholarship. As you can see that at Harvard, there's about 50% of the people are not on scholarships. About, 40-ish, 35% are on receiving less than half tuition, and then total half to full tuition, because the ABA does these things in ranges, would be 13%, and then finally full tuition, only about 1% get a full ride to Harvard. So you can use that to kind of plan out, where you want to be going to college, where you think that you can get the best scholarship for this. Then, looking at down here, this is the total number of students that were receiving scholarships in this for each year. And so then you can see, well, Harvard doesn't have a part-time program, so there's going to be 0 over there. And then if there's anybody that are on conditional scholarships, you'll see that in some of the schools, it'll identify the number that entered with during that year, and then the next year how many were actually eliminated. Okay, and then this last tab, which is the JD attrition tab. And so you can see the number of people that have been leaving Harvard, which in this case you can tell it's not going to be a lot, and then you can see that you can see why they are leaving. So in the case of academic attrition, other total attrition, total attrition completely, and then transferring how many actually transferred out. And as you can gather, most people are probably not transferring out of Harvard. Now, for any of these, if you take it and you decide you want to take your notes away from it, you can always click the download button and then click the PDF. And what that will do is that'll bring a pop-up and you can just download it directly to your desktop. And let's see here, see it pop up there. So now, oops, here we go. Open up in a new window. So that is that. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the tool and have a great day.